Okay, guys, alternate ending. Take 43.
With so many movies on the net and TV, it's kinda hard being up and film savvy. Do you catch a show while you're on the go? And how do you know what to keep or what to throw? How do you know what to keep or what to throw? Tune in, tune in, tune in to alternate ending. Tune in, tune in, tune in to alternate ending. Now! Please give a warm welcome to the hosts of Alternate Ending.
Welcome to Alternate Ending, discovering good movies one bad movie at a time. I'm film school dropout Robert Jarsinski. Across from me is our casual moviegoer Carrie Jarsinski and our very own critic in residence Tim Brayton. With Halloween upon us and both Jigsaw and the latest Amityville movies hitting theaters, we take a look at our...
I think saying that the Amityville movie has hit theaters is probably being super generous to the Amityville movie. But
What would you descended on movies or
shamefacedly slinked in for like one night before being left
escorted off?
Yes,
we're looking at our top 5 hauntings. But first, Carrie, you were nowhere to be found the last few hours. Where did you end up? Where were you?
I was on a date.
You were on a date? It wasn't with me.
Was he super cute and hot?
He was, I guess is super sultry, smoky voice, fetching face.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds like a pretty great guy.
What did you guys do on your date?
Pretty awesome.
So we went to see a movie, and I gotta say, my movie date with your wife was much better than my movie date with your husband.
Oh, it
Carrie.
was? We didn't talk about this. Tell me why.
Well, because it wasn't at the end. I didn't get bronied.
Oh, right. Oh, so I thought there was going to be more to it than that.
No, that's pretty much.
Were you snowballed?
Were
you snowballed though? Is that a thing?
I mean, we promised each other we wouldn't tell you because it seemed
what
like
is a snowball?
Well,
oh, you mean like from the movie? Because people got snowballed.
They did. That would have been a much better movie.
That would have been. So
we saw the Snowman.
No snowballing, and I was gonna also compliment you too. So I went on a friend date several months ago, and you were right on par with that friend date. There was no offensive crunching. He was very low movement. Rob's a big shifter. I gotta place you ahead of Rob.
I can't remember. Is this the first time you guys have been in the movies together?
Just together alone.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
No, I don't remember the three of us going to like a theater experience movie.
Yeah, we did. Remember we went to the.
We did.
We saw a thing at the one in Madison.
Yeah.
We live in Madison. That's hard.
Yeah. Well, we did all go see a movie on the same day, and we bumped into each other, but it wasn't for the same movie.
Right.
But there was that other one at that small little theater. And we all went in, took a picture.
This is the most exciting
So that was because Tim, we went to go see Beguiled, and Tim went to go see something else.
Forget all this.
Anyway, so we saw the Snowman.
But yeah, it was good. He was a gentleman. He was nice.
You guys caught up to me because I watched the Snowman when I was out in Vegas for work.
Excellent.
So I was very excited to send you off. That's why I said, Care, I'll take the kids.
This was one of my top anticipated of the fall, winter, number 4. And it did bring the winter.
It is certainly a film in which snow is a primary, even titular plot element.
Yeah. Rob, do you have the synopsis on it?
I do. It is Detective Harry Hole.
Talk about snowballing, am I right?
Played by Michael Fassbender.
Snowballing something different than I think?
Snowballing
Don't tell me. I don't want to know because I've already used the word many times.
Snowballing is a beautiful act between two consenting adults, and I think you should look it up.
I'm going to Google it later when I'm less embarrassed.
Google it.
Google image it. Google image.
Yes.
That would be better for you.
You told me to do that with lice, and I regret that.
Investigates the disappearance of a woman whose pink scarf is found wrapped around an ominous-looking snowman. So it's a serial killer movie.
That is one way of indicating the plot summary of that movie, yes. The other could be that Harry Hole is an alcoholic Oslo detective who grumps his way across a snowscape while people die, kind of, but not nearly as many as the ad campaign implied would die, I don't think.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I think it implied not very many in the ad campaign.
Well, it implied that people were going to be like turned into snowmans, I think, and that only happened once.
Okay.
Yeah, I was waiting.
Twice.
All right. Yeah, I guess I don't want to spoil anything. Rotten Tomatoes currently has this at 8%.
Ooh.
That is harsh.
This is
an easy 12%.
No, it's an easy 14.
I could not imagine leaving that movie and anyone based in any sense of movie reality walking like, yeah, that was okay.
That is a movie I will give a fresh review to. I'd like to tell other people to see
That's
this
a
movie.
thumbs up movie.
Yeah,
I can't picture that happening.
So we're not going to spend very much time talking about it, but what we did want to spend time talking about is not seeing it in theaters or spending any sort of
on
money.
DVD or on Amazon. If it's streaming on Netflix, add it to your queue, but never get around to watching it. And then when it expires, you're like, oh, should I watch it? But then there's like the Great British Break Off, so you can watch that instead. Don't see this movie.
Can we at least guess as to what transpired? I mean, this is a pretty competent director, Tomas Alfredson, Tinker Tailor, Soldier Spy, Let the Right One In.
Yep.
What Michael Fassbender? I mean,
it is a film that is not without flashes of well-directed moments. There were some scenes where it's like, yeah, that's a good scene. Like, there's one moment where some cop cars are driving down a snowy road, and like they're framed so that they're kind of driving diagonally down to the right, and their lights are going, and apparently in Norway they don't have red lights, they just have blue lights, so they're like throwing these flashes of blue light across the snow, and it's like lighting up this entire snowfield, and it's really quite beautiful. But then plot happens.
Editing. The editing was choppier. I don't know what the hell was happening.
So the editing. So what happened? Alfredson has talked about this. They only were able to shoot about 85% of what they needed to shoot to construct a coherent film. And I don't know if it was at that point that they brought in Thelma Schoonmaker, who is like one of the editors. Like she's been with Scorsese forever. She's a huge name in editing. So I don't know if what we were seeing was her being brought on to try to save something that was fundamentally unsalvageable, or what the hell was going on. But there was some mind-blowingly bad editing in this film.
It was just a lot. So more than anything, I didn't notice the editing. More than anything, there was so many plot lines going on. Quick side note, this is just a quick clarification and not a spoiler. Was Val Kilmer in this movie?
Val Kilmer was in this movie and then some.
When you set out to see this, what did I tell you?
Was that it?
That was it.
So, okay,
that
wait.
was my guess for
so
what it was.
Was it? Okay, so before we went here, Rob's like, there's a nugget in there, Carrie, and when you get there, you're going to know it's the nugget that you're looking for. Well, here's the thing. There's so many
nuggets.
Nuggets and weirdo things in this movie. The first scene happens, and I was like, oh, that was it. And then 5 minutes later, something else happens. I'm like, oh, that was definitely what Rob was talking about. And then all of a sudden, this guy with like a really plasticky, weird spit problem comes on, and I was like, gosh, this guy's familiar. And then I looked at Tim, and he wasn't looking at me, so I'm like, maybe it's just a look-alike a little bit. And then I still was like only 70% sure when we left that was Val Kilmer.
That was the love of your life.
That man and that accent were both Val Kilmer.
Well, I cannot believe that is his voice. That has to be some sort of dubbing.
It's because he had dentures in or something.
He has the ability to put on an accent.
Have you ever seen The Saint?
Wants.
Yeah.
I do appreciate that Val Kilmer, uniquely of the cast, was trying to do an accent, because everybody else was just like, it's Sweden, so obviously, or it's Norway, so obviously we're all Brits. Yeah. Which, fuck that.
The guy that did the drumming movie that was in it.
Yeah, which drumming movie is that?
The drummer movie where he's a drumming teacher.
He's not in here.
Or a band teacher.
Oh, yeah, no, J.K. Simmons is totally in it.
I thought you mentioned
J.K. Simmons puts on some sort of very weird fucking accent. Yeah. It's like, what? It's because he's an American and he has to play a Brit to be in the goddamn British
It was
movie.
A highlight for me, though. I was like, ooh,
him
like
snapping
you're trying.
photos, too,
you're really trying.
Simmons was aware that it was campy, and I don't think anybody else... Well, Kilmer was clearly aware that it was campy.
I'm glad you knew it was Kilmer, too.
I don't want to hang on. There's a thing where it goes back to the editing where they actually cut to the back of him, so you don't ever really see him
back
talk.
Of who?
Like, back of Kilmer.
Oh,
so
sure.
I gotta believe it was some sort of dubbing, because that can't be his voice.
I see no reason to assume that it can't. He's a professional actor. He knows how to do things with his voice, including sound like if Jeff Bridges' character from True Grit had grown up in South Africa. Or whatever the
looked
hell
like
was
Jeff Bridges.
He kind of did.
I was like,
that was unfortunate hair, right?
Was
super unfortunate hair.
It was kind of like Gollum.
So maybe go see it just to see Kilmer.
I don't know.
Google image search the Snowman Val Kilmer, and you will have the experience of the best part of his motion.
What's sad is Fassbender still acting his balls off like he does. I don't fault anything Fassbender did. He was acting. He was emoting.
He was definitely emoting. Weirdly overqualified cast. Charlotte Gainsbourg is in it as a woman who does nothing at all.
Toby Jones
was in like 2 scenes. Yeah. How does that even happen?
I don't know who any of these people are, but
Charlotte Gainsbourg was the woman who is the mother of the boy who is kind of implied, but also kind of super implied not to be possibly Fassbender's son.
Oh, okay. Got it.
I feel like somewhere in the 15% that we didn't get shot was some explanation of that.
It was a really important.
That was
it was a
weird.
really important 15%.
There were a lot of loose ends, a lot of plot lines that were going on, and we talked a lot more about it than I thought we would. But avoid it if you
I
can.
have so much to say.
I have so much more to say.
Be sure to keep your eye on alternate ending for the review of the Snowman.
Well, we kind of did a little bit of worth mentioning, but let's actually formally jump into it. What is the worth mentioning segment of the movies we've seen since the last episode? Which are the ones we want to talk about most? They could be great movies. They could be terrible. We share them either way. Other than the Snowman, Care, how many movies did you end up watching since the last episode?
3.
Nice.
So I saw The Shining for the first time.
It's a good movie.
For the first time. So I saw that. And then I also saw this movie, The Snowman. And then I also saw a movie I was really excited to share with you guys called The End of the Tour.
Oh, yeah.
Seen it.
Oh,
Nice.
man. Have you seen it, Tim?
I saw it.
Oh,
First movie I
dang
saw
it.
after I became a Madison resident, in fact.
Oh, this is a bummer. I thought I was going to bring some, wisdom, some movie wisdom to you this week.
Bring the wisdom.
I will. I'll bring the wisdom, and then I'm curious what you guys thought about it. It stars Jason Segel
Yes.
from How I Met Your Mother, Jesse Eisenberg, Anna Klumsky plays a little role in it, and it's the story of a 5-day interview that happens between Rolling Stone reporter David Lipsky, played by Jesse Eisenberg, and then the acclaimed novelist David Foster Wallace, who wrote Infinite Jest.
Yes.
And he published it in 1996, but I don't know what this is. I guess it's like a biography, it's a real story. It really happened. Drama biography. And
okay. I was going to not ask that word because I assumed that you'd had some sort of weird moment and I didn't want to call attention to it.
is it a thing that people say?
No.
No, it's not.
No.
but
We
now
call them
you'll know.
biopics or biopic, depending on how you choose to pronounce that word.
Do you think in your future reviews you can start using biography?
I think I could do that.
Do you think people would buy into it?
I think that I have the capacity to do that as a person.
Yeah, but I'll be on the lookout for that,
do that.
When you do this review. So it was available on Netflix. It was free, and yeah, I don't know. It was just really good. It follows this story, and I didn't realize that it was true until I started. And I've never seen Jason Segel playing this character before. He plays the author who you find out very early on has committed suicide. And it backtracks to when he meets this Rolling Stones reporter, and when he follows him, it's the relationship that they develop over this short amount of time. But it's this really, really close, intense relationship and friendship. And I really enjoyed it. It was a really interesting look at how lonely success can be. He's this acclaimed writer. Everybody wants to know him. Everyone wants to be his friend. Everyone wants to understand how he can be this amazing author, and yet he's so lonely and depressed and feels like his work is sort of like a sham. And I don't know. I thought if you guys hadn't seen it, which you had, I would have recommended it.
No, it's funny that you like this. This isn't a movie that jumps to the top of the list that I've seen where I'm like, yeah, that's a movie Carrie would
Oh no,
really
it's not a
like
me
seeing.
movie.
Yeah.
I
But
didn't.
you liked
Did
it.
I
I'm glad
say
that
that?
you liked
No,
it.
I didn't say
Oh,
that.
no,
I mean, I was
okay.
really sad. But it was something that I thought you guys would enjoy.
Yeah, it explores the intellectual society and someone who's coping with being successful. Yeah, and also Jesse Eisenberg's character is pretty interesting too, of someone who's a little jealous of the acclaim that this person's getting because as a fellow
But jealous,
writer,
but enamored. He's
Both.
completely
Yeah,
enamored.
I thought Eisenberg was terrific.
Yeah,
in
I
this
thought so
movie.
too.
I thought it's his second best performance after Social Network, I'd say.
I completely agree. Did you enjoy it though, Tim?
I kind of did a little bit.
Have you read The Infinite Jest?
No, I haven't. I've read
1,000
some
pages,
of
Rob.
his nonfiction short stories, but I find people who are really into David Foster Wallace to be very dull, insufferable human beings. And I think this was kind of a movie made for and by them. And so I kind of had a personal hang up about how I didn't want to.
You went in not like
I went
okay.
in not liking it.
Yeah.
Well,
I think it's fine.
I don't think I'm too slow, but I don't think I'm smart. And when I see the exchanges, the banter that's happening between two intellectuals, I get lost. It's rough. It's rough hanging in there.
No, I didn't think it was tough to keep up
not
with.
keep up with. I'm just saying, I don't have conversation. I don't have conversations like the two.
Oh,
of
tell me
those.
about it.
Yeah.
I try to class up this podcast and it just never works.
No, it's a good flick.
That's what I saw.
I enjoyed it. Yeah, I thought it was worth learning.
It was
a little
free,
bit
and
about.
I would definitely recommend it if that sounds interesting to you, and it's available for free.
Very nice, Tim. What do you want to bring to the table?
Well, I saw 10 movies since we recorded last.
my
Now,
gosh.
admittedly, it was more than a week ago. We had a bit of a gap this time. But I actually saw another film on both of your most anticipated for the fall lists. I saw The Florida Project.
Nice.
Wait, that was your list, and who else's?
It was yours.
No, it was
That was on
both,
my list?
That's on
both
your
of our
list.
lists. Yeah.
Yes! I'm so glad I had that. I thought that was just your list.
It's not even on
It's
my
not on
list.
his
I
list
wasn't
at all.
looking
Oh
forward
my
to it.
gosh. I was because everyone's getting all these great reviews, and I was like, dang it, Tim picked that one. Why should I pick it?
I did not pick that one. I was actually not looking forward to it at all.
Yes. Okay, tell
and
me
having
about
seen
it.
it, it was better than I expected, which was, again, not much at all. I don't want to go into it too much because you guys haven't seen it, and I think you should. Well, you should because it's on Carrie's list, and it's on both of your lists.
Obviously,
right?
it's on my list.
I think there is a limit to how into the movie you can be if you find loud children insufferable, and I do kind of find loud children insufferable. So as parents, you might be a little bit more
Accustomed.
able to cope with that part of the film. I also, I think I don't know how I feel about the way it represents poverty, and that's, I think, a debate, and it's a debate I'd be interested in revisiting. I liked it. I in no way loved it. It's very pretty. It's definitely, if you're going to see it on a nice, clean screen with a good projector. This is not a watch it in your living room movie. I mean, it is because it's really low scale. But like, if you see it in a setting where the colors are going to suffer, you're missing a large part of what this
How's
movie
the
is.
guy's performance? The
Defoe.
Defoe. William
He's so
Defoe.
good.
Is he?
His character is really interesting, really like deliberately underwritten. So a lot of what he's doing is sort of implication and innuendo, and it works really, really well.
Am I safe yet in my best supporting actor? Like months ago, I predicted best supporting actor, at least not for him.
I would not be surprised at all.
Okay. And now that he's the director isn't shooting with iPhones, we're in capable hands.
That is. Let's debate that after you see the movie.
All right.
What did you
Interesting.
see?
I saw 6 movies. I thought, for once, I thought I'd be able to.
Now I'm back in the saddle, baby.
It was a travel week, so I am able to catch up on a lot of movies. I saw something on a plane.
Best way to watch a movie.
No, you know what? I did it on my iPad. So it's a little bit better than just a little tiny screen. This is
because
a movie
iPads are noted for the large size of their screens.
of the 6 movies that I saw. This is the one that I wanted to bring to the attention of those who I think would like, which is everybody. It was only made $9 million, released in 2016. Stars Jessica Chastain. It's Miss Sloane.
I didn't see that.
I think a lot of people may have
came and went real fast.
It did, and it's 75% on Rotten Tomatoes, 7.4 on IMDb. Directed by John Madden. So I don't know if that doesn't do a lot.
It doesn't do either direction.
Yeah, it's Shakespeare in Love Care director.
Oh yeah.
And actually, more movies that I like a little bit better was The Debt, and The Best Exotic Marigold. So he kind of vacillates between.
You like both of those movies better than Shakespeare in Love?
Well, The Debt I liked.
The Debt is more of a
it's
you
more of
movie
a
than
me type of movie than a Shakespeare in Love. But it's interesting that he can go from kind of like romantic drama to kind of thriller-esque mystery. And this one, it's in the high-stakes world of political power brokers. It's basically about a lobbyist, Elizabeth Sloane, who's at the top of her game, and everybody wants her. And she's pursued by a gun lobby, and obviously very relevant, right? Much more. It's always relevant, but much more relevant, right in this situation. She's pursued by a gun lobby to support, so that she can. No, she's pursued by a senator who wants to support from a gun lobbyist of her stature, and she decides to just flip to the other side because she actually decides to take her own personal view on the matter and go defend the little guy. So she mounts a campaign against the gun lobby against gun activists to try to bring it back. I found it to be very interesting. It's a procedural movie, so if you like Social Network, if you like that Aaron Sorkin style writing, Spotlight-esque type of movie, this is one you can't sleep on. This is a movie that, if you like those types of movies...
Fast-paced, or...?
It's fast-paced. It deals a lot with the inner workings of what it is to be a lobbyist. Right. But Jessica Chastain's character is very interesting. She's a flawed human being, just like most heroes are, and has some twists and turns. Again, if you like Spotlight, if you like Social Network, this is a movie I think people would like. The runtime seems strange to me because it felt like it went by a lot faster. Mark Strong is in this.
What is the runtime?
2 hours, 12 minutes. Sorry if I didn't say. So it's a little on the lengthier side, but it doesn't feel that long. Great performances by Gugu Mbatha-Raw.
I actually don't know how to pronounce her name, but I love her a lot.
Yeah.
She's a very good actress.
And just powerful performances by her, Jessica Chastain, Mark Strong bringing it home, Alison Pill, Sam Waterston in this, and John Lithgow.
That's a good cast.
Yeah. Is
it only available on planes
into lobby
or
in DC?
where else
No,
can
it's
you see it?
available. You can find it streaming
Netflix
on
right now, if I'm not mistaken.
You
The
can find it streaming.
Netflix?
The Netflix.
The
Yes, it's a very elite, like invitation only Netflix
private invite.
version.
I feel bad that the 9 million made me want to mention this particular movie because I think people need to get out there and see this film. It's something that I think people might have missed.
Cool.
Well, remember, you can find more details about all the movies we've watched at our website, alternateending.com. That's alternateending.com. Before we head to our break, you might be wondering about ways to support the show. You may want to make us watch a movie, have Tim write a review, pick your own episode topic. You can do it all from our Patreon page. Also, want to thank all of our listeners who support the show and make their Amazon purchases through our site. Doing it is easy. Just go to our website, alternateending.com, click on our Amazon banner, and seamlessly go about your purchases. All proceeds go to making our show better. Since our last episode, here are the things that were purchased. Some music, and very fitting. I've been listening to a lot of this lately in the office. Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers' greatest hits. With the passing of Tom Petty. A lot of great music. Any favorites, Care? I'm going to put you... I shouldn't put you on the spot. That Free Fallin', right?
Oh, that was my favorite.
That's the one.
Oh, gosh, I love it. Yeah.
That's the only one that jumps to my mind.
I will be honest and say that my favorite Tom Petty song, this is a complete cheat, is his duet with Stevie Nicks, Stop Dragging My Heart Around.
Okay.
How does that one go? You don't have to sing it.
It goes about Don't Drag My Heart Around.
And then what happened?
And he does.
He does drag the heart around.
He drags her heart around.
Baby.
He does.
Okay.
It's very sad.
Someone with some fine food tastes. We have some rice risotto purchased. 32
Did you say
ounce.
rice risotto? Is that...
Well, it says rice
is there
selects.
non-rice
I'm saying like
risotto?
rice.
It just says rice selects rice risotto. I guess
Okay.
just
So Rice Select is the brand of risotto.
It is. Also, this is a familiar purchase here. Someone re-upping on their lamb dry dog food, 25-pound bag. So I'm starting to get into the cadence of this dog's eating habits.
Sure.
It's about like a
cup a day?
monthly supply here. Also, some plastic storage tube, blue documents, blueprints, artwork, hard plastic, expandable.
Sometimes you got to store your blueprints, man.
Yeah, this is interesting. So someone either with architectural or has some fine art that they're transporting around or trying to...
Or maybe they're an art thief.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, I hope we have an art thief listening to our show.
That's sweet.
I want you to
What if
know
it's
how
Catherine
much
Zeta-Jones?
I like How to Steal a Million.
Oh.
There you go.
What about Catherine Zeta-Jones?
Could be.
I would be
Could
very
be entrapment.
Yeah.
Amazon Instant Video, we had No Man's Land purchased.
Oh, the 2001 film about the Balkans?
Maybe. I only know it as a reference to Wonder Woman at this point. Like, that is how I think No Man's Land means to me from this point going forward. DVD on the underrated, I think, not mentioned often enough, Hannah. What did you think about Hannah?
I liked Hannah. It's
I
actually
liked
my
Hannah.
favorite Joe Wright film.
The zombie movie?
No,
No, that's
something else.
Oh, never mind.
Night of the Living Dead.
No, I'm thinking of Maggie.
Maggie.
Oh, yeah, no. Hannah is about Saoirse Ronan as an assassin.
Oh, it's
And
good?
It's really
Yeah,
it's
it's
good,
really
and
good.
it has like one of the best scores of the decade.
Interesting.
Movie I'm not familiar with, at least by title. I'm not being able to place this. Tim, you might have to help me out. The Long Goodbye Blu-ray is well purchased.
The Long Goodbye is amazing, and you should feel bad that you don't know what it is.
Okay.
It's a 1972 or 73, I think, detective film starring Elliot Gould, directed by Robert Altman, and it's all about like bringing 40s style detective fiction into the 70s in a way that's just really, really satisfying.
Can I ask you a
perfect.
question?
Yeah.
Are these, when you always say these DVDs, are these people who have gone through the website, alternate ending, and then they click stream now, or is it different?
Can't tell.
You don't know. Okay. I was
Tell.
curious.
I hope they're clicking through. Yeah, they go through Tim's
They're
review.
clicking through in some capacity.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just curious.
Well, here's
that
a
stream
good
now works.
Tim, do you have a review of The Long Goodbye?
I do not.
Or Hannah.
I do have a review of Hannah.
So 50-50
So it's a little
there.
mix.
If they're buying the physical DVD, they're probably not clicking through stream now.
Got it.
Because then they'd be streaming.
Okay.
Now.
Good point. Good point.
Well, thanks y'all for your purchases. When we get back, our top 5 hauntings. Welcome back to Alternating. We're talking about our top 5 hauntings. Care, what is a haunting?
A haunting?
Yeah, haunting.
Okay, so in my opinion, a haunting movie is something that's evocative and poignant, difficult to ignore or forget, you know?
Huh?
Like it's haunting.
Like our first kiss.
Like it's
If you're gonna be like, if it's gonna be like kisses that left you wanting more.
that haunted me. Like, oh, it left me. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. That was what I thought Tim might do. So,
That seems like a Tim.
That's, yeah. What? No, it doesn't.
so you'd be like, oh, this movie was haunting. You wouldn't do that?
I would not.
Have you ever called a movie haunting?
Maybe.
Okay. So instead, I went with the option A. It is a spirit or a ghost who is frequently visiting a person.
Okay.
And the ghost or spirit must...
For
tea or crumpets, but said spirit or ghost, or multiple ghosts or spirits, must have malintent.
Okay. So the Ghost and Mrs. Muir, in which a ghost falls in love with a woman named Mrs. Muir,
Does not count.
not a haunting movie.
No.
All right.
To haunt, the act of haunting must have malintent. It doesn't have to be like you want to kill the person.
You want to ruin their day.
Right.
All right.
At the minimum, at the most, you want to kill them.
Gotcha.
Okay? Is that online with everybody else?
That's Tim.
Well, here's the thing. When we discussed this topic some time ago, we had, if I recall correctly, agreed not to hauntings writ large, but to haunted houses. So my list is very tailored to haunted houses, which is different. To me, my criteria were that there had to be inexplicable goings-on in a place of residence. Could not be a haunted laundromat, could not be a haunted car, could not, sadly, be a haunted hotel, so no Shining on my list. But it has to have the overall structure of something's going on, they're trying to find out what's going on, meanwhile, like, plates are breaking and, things are flapping where there's no wind and there's weird female voices singing lullabies at night and what have you, and that kind of thing. In a domicile, in a place that is either owned or rented as a primary residence.
Okay.
I'm kind of in between both of you. It seems like you're focusing on people, and I'm more on a dwelling. And I'll say dwelling because as I look through my list, I may or may not have something that you may argue with me that is in a house. But for the most part, mine are homes.
Do you have a haunted yurt movie?
That's number 3.
I have a haunted hopa. So that's present here. No. So yeah, I took hauntings as, and I struggled with this, which is why I kind of expanded beyond homes. I originally thought of like the house is actually is possessed. So more Amityville style, where the home itself. And I was struggling to find enough movies that really had that aspect to it. Versus
you don't see enough movies.
I guess I don't see enough movies.
There are like
so
4
many
of these every month.
But I wanted it to be it could be a ghost, could be a demon.
Had to be a good movie too to make your list. Probably
had to be a good movie. And that was the struggle that I had. The movies were that maybe that didn't qualify. I could come up with some, but they weren't great movies. So I kind of expanded the list to feature. It could be any type of
some supernatural
thing.
Supernatural. Okay.
Oh, so you have movies about like unicorns?
Could be, if a unicorn was in a dwelling and was causing some chaos.
Well, a unicorn would cause chaos if it was in a dwelling. Can you imagine if a unicorn walked in here right now? I'd flip my shit.
So, and it's tough because, like, does the ghost follow the person outside the home? Does that then disqualify it?
No.
If it can
No,
go
certainly
past? Oh, it doesn't?
No,
I
it
would
does
not say so at
not.
all.
Oh.
Oh my
Because
gosh.
there are movies in which they move into a haunted house, but then the thing latches onto them, including some of the recent standard bearers of the haunted house genre, such as Insidious.
Okay, I wanted 90% of the movie to take place in the dwelling, and I keep saying dwelling because it really applies more.
So
to
you
one.
called this a hauntings. You top 5 hauntings, just so you know. It might happen to take place in homes and dwellings and stuff, but like in locations in places, but. You said hauntings.
Yeah, no, people are.
Okay.
So that's why I'm saying I split the difference between you.
And that's what concerned me, because when I started seeing what people were writing about hauntings, because that's what we called it, but I was like haunted houses.
How long do you have to live in a residence in order to be? You said it has to be your primary residence. How long?
Well, I mean, you can't be like a vagrant. It can't be like a live-in hotel. It can't be.
You're explicitly trying to eliminate one movie.
No, it's not even that.
Can't be a
I would say
live-in
it has
hotel.
to be a place where you are paying a rent or mortgage.
Okay.
Or someone is paying it on your
Or
behalf.
what happens if you're getting paid to live in that place? We'll get there.
We'll get there.
Yeah,
Actually, we will get there.
All right, number five to you, Care.
Number 5 to me. So honestly, I love this genre of movie. I love scary. I love horror. I love ghosts and ghouls. And there's a lot that I had to eliminate because of my criteria. I'm just going to point that out. But anyway, so I'm going to start with my number 5.
All right.
Which is the movie Paranormal Activity.
An excellent choice.
Is that on your list?
is not.
Is it on yours?
Yeah, good choice. Not on my list.
So it's not like it's one of these wild, my favorite movie of all time kind of movies, but this movie freaked me the crap out. This is like a found footage horror freak show movie. It's directed and written by Oren Peli.
Pelly, I think.
Yeah. And it's this young couple moves into a starter home and they become increasingly disturbed by this presence in their house. So the husband sets up a
camera,
which has like night vision, of course. Everything's like this green, creepy casting. Whatever year this was in.
It was made in 2007, was on the festivals in 2007, but it got released in 2009.
So I'm more embarrassed knowing that because I remember being like, is this real? Is this a real movie when I first saw it? So I was a little too old to probably be thinking that.
I would say so.
Yeah. I mean, some people might say. But I was so freaked out by this movie. And I think it preys on all of your fears of that what's in the dark. Because it's got that green lighting where these people can't see what's going on, but the camera can. And all these bizarre things start happening, doors slamming, whatever. And there's a demonic presence, spiritual presence, ghostly presence in the house that is not of the friendly variety. And it starred Katie Featherston and Micah Sloat. Two people who you're like, is this their house? Like, this is their house in Connecticut? Like, probably. Like,
I think it might be in Southern California.
It might be, but I just mean like it was totally believable as a found footage type movie.
It's such an obvious like suburban tract home. It's like a totally nondescript home.
And this movie creeped me out. And movies I picked were like, what one stuck with me as like a super creep factor, and this was one of them.
This is one of, I think, 4 movies that I've ever seen that I had an issue walking in the dark the same day that
afterwards.
There's a very small number of movies that actually scare me, and this was one of the ones that got me so badly that I had to like run. You're like, I have to flip on the lights. Totally. And my mother, when I showed this, because she always talks about like she likes scary movies, and then whenever I show her a movie that's scary and not just stupid, she always like doesn't deal with it. She couldn't go into her basement for like 3 days.
Oh yeah,
she watched this movie.
Yeah,
no, I was totally creeped out as well, and these kind of movies bother me. So it's like, damn it, I could have made that. I could have made that. But well, I couldn't. I couldn't. But I really couldn't have. And I didn't.
I think we should.
It's a good movie. I don't know why I didn't consider this one.
This is too good, probably.
No, it's more of the fact that yes, while it takes place in a home now,
house,
you know, things we learn later kind of take it away from the home itself.
Let's not even say that there are sequels.
No, there aren't
those sequels. They're bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, just stick it to this one. So
how about you, Tim?
Yeah.
Number 5?
So my number 5, I'm going to immediately launch into something I didn't really realize about my list, which is that it skews real old. Like real the hell old.
That's really shocking to me. It's thought you were going to go with
piss off.
All Insidious 1, 2, and 3 on your list?
No, I'm going to go with Insidious 3 and then 4 Amityville.
Okay, that's what I thought.
No, my number 5 is 1959's House on Haunted Hill, directed by the brilliant huckster genius William Castle. This is a film that stars Vincent Price, Carol Omart, Elisha Cook, a few other people. So what this is about is this guy played by Vincent Price, who is just this crazy millionaire who has enough money that he can be like, you know what, I'm just going to spend money on dumb shit. Invites 5 people to a haunted house and tells each of them if they can spend the night in the house, he will give them $10,000.
What year did you say this was?
1959.
Because they remade this, right?
They did.
Okay, but go back to your original. Because I've seen the remake.
I have not seen the remake. No, that's not true. I have seen the remake. It's very bad. So this is a short, crisp little 75-minute movie, totally made for like 8-year-olds during the matinee, like whatever. A goofy, corny film full of like shit just jumping out and saying boo. William Castle is very famous for his in-theater gimmicks. And his gimmick for this film was something that he called Emerge-O, which was at a certain very key point in the film, a skeleton appears. And what's scarier than a skeleton? Nothing. Except a skeleton being flown out into the theater on a wire to hover over the audience and shake and rattle its bones and then be flown back in. Apparently, Emerge-O very rarely worked, so the skeleton would usually just get like stuck halfway across, and people would like throw spitballs and candy at it. And
it worked here.
The in theater technology accompanying this movie failed. Like a skeleton appeared in the theater.
Just a quick thing, like for these types of things, as you hear about these gimmicks that happen, is that something the theater had to like figure out how to do, or did that ship with the film?
It shipped with the film.
Wow, that's crazy.
William Castle was like all about giving people their money's worth. So he had this. He had, I forget the name of the one in The Tingler, but he put buzzers in like 20% of the seats. and at a certain point, the lights go off. And Vincent Price is in a lot of these movies, screams, "The Tingler's in the theater," and like he zaps some people.
That's awesome.
It's so awesome. But yeah, so this is pure idiot, kitschy camp, and I love it so much. Vincent Price is like...
Who's the spirit or ghost?
Well, we just don't know.
Oh, okay. Okay.
There's a skeleton.
There's a skeleton. It doesn't feel like a spirit or ghost. A skeleton's just kind of like bones.
But there are also like monsters and things going boom.
Monsters don't count, right?
It's a haunted house. It's a haunted house.
It doesn't feel like it right now, but I'll watch it and see.
Well, the point being, it's delightful.
It's
fun.
delightful and awesome.
It's about as scary as a plate of cream of wheat, but that's fine because
So the
that's how it's
skeleton. Okay, we're going to go with the skeleton.
With my number 5, you guys have already made me insecure because you brought it up a few times now. So I don't know, bringing it up in the sense where you guys like it and you agree that it should be here, or bringing it up in mockery. This one showed me that James Wan wasn't just a one-trick pony with Saw. We mentioned the Saw remake having hit theaters. He went out and directed in 2010 Insidious.
Insidious is a good movie.
Okay.
It is 2/3 of a good movie.
All right.
So the reason I didn't include it is because when I think about Insidious, I also blend Insidious, The Conjuring, Oculus, and Haunting in Connecticut all into one movie, and I have no idea
That is
how to
a movie
distinguish.
of remarkably varying quality that you just blended together.
I've blended all of them together,
The
and I
Conjuring is
can't.
like one of the best horror movies of the last 10 years, and Haunting in Connecticut is just shit.
I can't think of any of the different. Like I know sort of their characters, but I couldn't tell you the titles.
I
and how
have
they're
a problem
different.
with The Conjuring, so I'll support you on that one. And that's really just because Patrick Wilson, right?
He's in both.
In both, and that.
I mean, and the Insidious films and the Conjuring films and now the Annabelle films and soon the Nun films, all coming from the same production house, more or less. They all have like identical plot structures, so it is really easy to get The Conjuring and Insidious.
And I had vacillated between Conjuring here, and Insidious is the one that stands out to me a little bit more. First of all, do you agree that it's a haunting movie?
For sure.
It's a haunting. Okay,
Yeah.
we're all set then. This one made for $1.5 million, brought in $54 million. The thing that I like about it the most is, much like Karen, now you and I are captivated by Stranger Things having come back to Netflix, this one deals with the further. The child in this movie, the son of Rose Byrne and Patrick Wilson, has the ability to travel in his dreams to another dimension or supernatural place, and then unfortunately he just gets stuck there, and his family tries to find a way to bring him back.
Is the further like the Upside Down?
It is like the Upside Down.
Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah. Which is why this movie had me.
But I've seen this movie. I don't know why I'm saying that. But see, I don't even remember this movie.
To me,
I don't know.
I like this movie precisely up until the further becomes a like visible plot point, at which point I think it gets like sizably worse.
Right. But holy shit, that woman is one of the
That's the only thing I remember from that movie, and she was really scary.
Yeah, it's like a lady in black, like a.
I think Lin Shaye is a fine actress, and you should stop mocking her like this.
This is the one. Again, the ability. I like. It's almost like he has a superhuman ability to.
Oh, he does explicitly.
Sure.
In the script, he's established as having.
So that's the thing that I like is, I want that ability. I want to be able to control my dreams and well, maybe not go there. I would choose where I would go.
It's a terrifying movie.
And I really like this. Also, listener Billy the Kid had this on their list as well too. So that's where I'm starting off my list. So it gets stronger from here. I feel really good about the rest of the way.
It's got to go somewhere from there, right? Rob? Yeah.
Where does it go for you, Kara?
It goes to something super scary. Probably the scariest of all the Disney films of all time.
Oh my gosh.
Oliver and Company.
Yes. With all of its ghosts and ghouls, the 1980 The Watcher in the Woods.
I have not seen this movie. Have we discussed that I have not seen this movie?
I don't know. So we talked about it on... yes, we did, because we talked about it on Top Live Action Disney. This made my list for that, too.
I still have not seen it.
Oh, you said you were going to see it.
I lied.
I can get that.
I lied bad.
He lied real bad. So directed by John Hugh. I probably on that episode also said, is it How or is it Hugh? I still don't know either, but I'm going to say it again. And it's written by Brian Clemens. So this family moves to a beautiful old English house in a wooded area, and then strange paranormal activities start to appear. And she has these twin daughters. I'm not going to go into it a bunch. This is really old. But these two daughters, and they start to hear voices of this young teenage girl who mysteriously disappeared years before. Then they start seeing flashes of her and she's got this like blindfold situation on, and they have to like uncover her past and history to release her from her situation or her doom. It stars Bette Davis, Kyle Richards. I can't believe you haven't seen this, Tim.
Maybe I will try to cram it in real quick before Halloween.
It would have made your list for this for sure. Everybody in this world agrees that this is definitely the scariest of all the Disney movies, for sure.
I don't know about that.
Think of something. Tell me something scarier.
What about the fear of your mother being shot by a hunter?
No, Bambi is less scary than this.
Bambi's very scary.
No.
What about the scene where the witch poisons Snow White and then runs up a hill and dies?
There's literally like flat. So here, and this is where it's haunted house too. Like even though that's not my
Tim,
thing.
there are lightning flashes in this movie.
There's lightning flashes. All right, here's why I will never go into a house of mirrors again ever. There's a house of mirrors situation, and then the girl with the blindfold.
So don't see the lady from Shanghai, or you will like have a heart attack.
I literally feel like I'm gonna have a heart attack. She's in there. She's got this blindfold, and then all of a sudden you see the girl that's been missing for millions of years, and she's got this blindfold on, and she's in the house of mirrors, and so she's everywhere.
I want to ask.
So scary.
I have a very important question.
Yeah.
Have you seen this movie since your 10th birthday?
So 1980.
You made me watch it with you. I fell asleep.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right. No,
So you
yeah.
have
I feel like
seen
I
this
should get
as a
the
functioning
have.
adult. All right.
I have seen it as a functioning adult, so it was still so good.
Good to hear.
Tim, what made me sad was I saw people write in support of this movie, not knowing that Carrie's love
Yeah.
affair. So very
It's
objectively,
good.
people writing in that this was a top 5 haunting. So
And I take it from the fact that you said very sad. You are not.
it's just it's
You fell asleep,
age kind
whatever.
Of, it did nothing scary about it at all. for me, but-
Well, you will be very excited by the entirety of my list because I don't think I have anything as recent as 1980. So
all right, hit
fuck
me.
you.
Number 4.
So my number 4, which actually now that I've mentioned age, is the oldest film on my list. This is the 1944 film The Uninvited, directed by Lewis Allen, based on Dorothy McArdle novel. It stars Ray Milland and Ruth Hussey and a few other people. So this is a movie basically about, this couple who moves into this beautiful, sprawling mansion on the coast of, somewhere in England. I forget exactly where. Cornwall, I think. So they find this beautiful manor house on the cliffs of Cornwall, water crashing against the cliffs below, and like bluffs and wind and all sorts of picturesque loveliness. So they buy the house, but the house has someone in it who is uninvited, as a ghost. And they don't know what's going on, so they try to uncover what is the history of this house, who has lived here, what is the dread secrets lying in here. And it's cool for a couple reasons. One, it's one of the only 40s films that I think is like genuinely actually scary for any length of time. I love a lot of 40s horror films. They're not scary, really. Only a few of them are. This is one of them. It's also, as far as I'm aware, and if you know to the contrary, please let me know, I think it's the only 40s haunted house movie or ghost story in which the ghost turns out to be a ghost and not some like gaslighting land dealer who's trying to drive people insane by like rattling pans. Because you couldn't, like, paranormal horror was the thing that people were totally not on board with for a while.
Why is that?
Just moral codes. I think there was a fear of like getting in Dutch with the Catholic Legion of Decency and things like that. So it's an actual ghost story and not a movie that is, kind of ghostly but lacks a tangible ghost. Really beautiful, like just such an unbearably good Oscar-nominated cinematography. So it's a gorgeous film. It's a creepy film. It's a romantic film in some very surprising ways. This is like, if it's the kind of thing where people have really pronounced thoughts about black and white horror, and some of them like just can't. And it's very classy and very elegant and very slow moving and all those things that people don't like about old horror. But it is like a wonderful film. If you're not automatically turned off by the statement 1944 ghost story, I think I can guarantee that you would probably like this film.
So does it have a malintent? Does the ghost have
most
malintent?
certainly.
Okay.
Most certainly.
Does anybody kick the bucket? Is the ghost? Here's another
that
question:
would be giving it
Are
away.
ghosts and spirits able to connect
well,
with?
they are potentially able to make you run up to the cliff edge
And
at
then,
your beautiful
yeah.
Cornish home and fall.
Oh yeah,
and die.
yeah. That's a
And
spoiler.
maybe that happens. But
It doesn't.
maybe
Probably not, though.
Maybe it almost happens.
Yeah.
Who knows?
You don't know. because I'm racing out to watch this.
Only in
afterwards.
title alone, it seems like it has similarities to The Uninvited from 2009 with Emily Browning, which I did see in Elizabeth
Only
Banks.
in title, and that is a bad movie. That was a very
it was
fucking
really
bad movie.
So that's why I was as you were describing, I was like trying to connect the dots. Like, does this have anything to do with that one that I saw?
That Uninvited is most distinctly not a remake.
All right. A movie that deserves, I think, some more attention. I brought it up maybe like one of our first podcasts here. We saw this movie. And I should have checked to see if the director or writer has
This one
done
doesn't
anything
count, though.
since. Oh, I'd love to know why. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
What am I talking about?
Doesn't count.
What am I talking about?
The Babadook.
I am talking about the Babadook.
I know you are. You love this movie.
Babadook.
It doesn't
This
count.
is an outstandingly good movie.
It doesn't count, though.
It counts by your definition more than it counts by Rob's, I'd actually say.
Really?
Because it is a haunting, but I don't think the implication is that the house is what's haunted.
The house is not haunted, and then it's also, I'm not going to, because I don't want to spoil this movie, but it's also not haunted.
But it might be. Yeah.
But it's not.
I think that's an open
Yeah,
question.
It's not open. I clarified it. I Googled it.
I think
You
it's
Googled it.
definitely specifically an open question.
Okay.
This movie still sticks with me.
I know it does.
For as little, I think this was a Kickstarter movie or something of that nature. Where I think Jennifer Kent, the director or writer, had enough money to maybe get it going, but she did have a Kickstarter campaign because I know I missed out on actually getting the
don't even
Babadook
bring this
book.
up. Yeah, Rob wanted
that
the
was
book.
that was after. I have the book.
You have the Babadook book?
That was not. That was after the movie came out, and we were like, "Fuck me! I want a Babadook book." I totally bought one.
You have a shopping thing.
Yes.
I know this. Who buys the Babadook?
I would buy
I
the
bought
Babadook.
one, and then I bought another one as a thank you present to the person who wrote one of my letters for grad school.
Oh my
my
god!
God.
Thank you again, Nick.
Thank you, Nick, for your. So you're gonna give him a creepy haunted book.
We saw it together at the Chicago Film Festival, and we both loved it very much.
Please just
Rob
like randomly
loves this
leave the
movie.
book behind in our somewhere in our kids' bookshelf. That would be amazing.
That would be pretty amazing. But I don't want your kids getting their filthy peanut butter covered hands on my Babadook book. It cost me $75.
Folks need to go out and see this. This is about a widowed mother plagued by the violent death of her husband, battles her son's fear of a monster lurking in the house, but soon discovers a sinister presence is all around her. This is, I mean, it's a low budget movie, so that's present, but it's really well shot, and the tension is there, and really great acting by Essie Davis and Noah Wiseman as the young child. I love this. I really love
I know
this
you
movie.
love this movie.
Do you
It
not,
doesn't
do you
count.
not love this
No,
movie?
I
How
thought
does
it was
not
fun
count?
because it's not a ghost or a spirit.
Is it?
It is potentially.
Yeah.
You're going to hate my next film. So you're aware.
I can feel it. I'm feeling stressed because I've always thought this movie is not what you think that it is. And the only reason that I actually do like this movie is that very few things actually rattle Rob except this movie. So when like I'm kind of annoyed or whatever and we're in the basement, what I do is I flick off all the lights really fast and then I start saying Babadook, dook, dook.
Oh,
and
yeah,
then
that gets
Rob,
me.
and then like I love hearing the like chilled small girl like screams that come from Rob as
can
he
imagine.
runs up the stairs in the dark. Then this is like years later. We saw this like a long time ago.
I think it's that layer that you're kind of alluding to, that the psychological aspects of the movie, the deeper meaning of the movie that it explores. That's really what sets it over the top for me too. Is the horror movie aspect of it alone was great, and then when you add these little bits in where it really makes you think about just things, and I don't want to give anything away, but
worth seeing for sure.
Hell yes.
Julian DeBerry also had this on his list too. I think about
He'd be
this
a
movie
little
a
wrong
lot.
too. Yeah.
Can I just say,
Yeah.
if it's in a word or in a look, you can't get rid of the Babadook.
Duck.
I want to see bring the book next time.
I'll bring
Bring
the book.
the book. Don't bring the book. Don't bring the
That's
book.
awesome that you have it.
So I'm going to bring up the creepiness level to a whole new level, like to a super creep level, with a little bit of a scarmity. Have you ever heard of a scarmity?
I don't know if
Is
it's
that a comedy so bad that it gives you psychological scars?
No, it's a scary romance. Wait.
Scary romance?
Oh, wait, no, that would be that's
would-
a
that would be
scary
a
comedy. Hang on, wait.
scromance.
No, wait, hang on.
It sounds like
it's
a
a scarmance.
horrible
wait,
disease that men
sorry.
get.
It's a scarmance. It's a scarmance. I'm really bad with combining words. It's a scarmance.
Are you sure it's not a cromedy?
It could be a comedy. It could be that too. Comedy. No, there's no comedy in this. Well, there's a little comedy. So let me tell you about this movie. It's so good, and it's never left my mind, and I think about it all the time. It's the 1995 Casper. Have you ever seen this?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. So the ending of this movie.
I want so badly for there to be like a loophole that this doesn't count, but it does.
It does totally count.
Every one of us, it counts.
It totally
all of our
counts.
criterion.
So you know who directs this movie? Do you know?
Some asshole.
Some amazing guy named Robert Zemeckis.
He didn't direct it.
Really?
He might have produced it.
No, he directed it.
Totally did not direct
He
it.
totally did. He also
Hang
did
on.
Castaway, Back to the Future, 13 Ghosts, which you could also count if it was a good movie.
I am sorry. Citation needed.
It doesn't feel very.
It is.
Zemeckis-esque, but
And Clark
It
Gregg.
feels like a very bad
It is
version.
not Robin Zemeckis.
Yes, it is. It's Robert Zemeckis and Casper.
Hang on.
So I'll keep telling you guys about
keep
this
talking
movie.
about it.
So this paranormal expert, played by Bill Pullman, and his daughter, who's played by Christina Ricci, go out to live in this abandoned house that's been willed. It's not. Who is it?
Brad Silberling.
Oh, yes, he is an asshole. He also did one of the Cats and Dogs, maybe both of the Cats
City
and
of
Dogs.
Angels as well.
Really? Yeah. I'm really not right.
Zemeckis does not even appear anywhere in the credits. It is an Amblin film, so Spielberg probably got his fingertips.
I don't know. Somebody did, but this was such a good movie. Let's just breeze past that previous error.
I mean, if it was by Zemeckis, I might not hate it. So
And he did
so I'd
13
agree with
Ghosts,
you.
though, you know. And so that was another ghost movie. But anyway.
Silberling or Zemeckis?
Zemeckis.
Zemeckis did not do 13 Ghosts. He did A Christmas Carol. That's, I think, his only ghost movie.
What's happening right
He
now?
did What Lies Beneath. That's kind of a ghost movie.
That's kind of a ghost. Yeah, you're right.
Anyway,
So,
tell us all about
so
Casper.
let me tell you a little bit more about it. So I feel less good about it, but I do feel good about telling you about it. So it stars Bill Pullman, and then his daughter is played by Christina Ricci, and they go to live in this abandoned house that has been willed to him by Bill Pullman's dad. And then they go there, and he's like, "Oh, I'm mad because you only willed me this old, gross house, and it's really gross and run down." But inside it, he finds this treasure map, and he finds out that there's supposed to be this maybe this amazing treasure that's somewhere in there. So then he goes in there and he's trying to find it, and they encounter 4 ghosts. One who's friendly, played by Casper, and then 3,
ghost you know.
the friendliest one you know, and then there's more to that, but I'll get there. And then there's 3 of them who's played, he has 3 uncles named Stretch, Fatso, and Stinky. I know that sounds like it's probably like makes for not a great movie, but it worked when it worked in the movie.
I want for the record to have everyone know that brief crack up that just happened was literally I looked at Carrie. That is I didn't even make an expression. I don't think.
Those names don't indicate the quality of the movie, but in the end, it's up to Harvey and Kat who are trying to help these ghosts that are trapped cross over to the other side. Here's where the movie gets really good. Casper's in love with Kat.
Casper wants to have ghost cuddles.
Ghost kitties with Kat. Here's the thing. Casper is played by Devon Sawa. And that is where the movie gets really good.
It hasn't aged well.
No, he did.
I know. I need to hear where this is going.
So
the phrase Devon Sawa made this movie has now entered the English lexicon.
But this is Devon Sawa in 1995, and his one wish in this world is to be human again, and so he wants to come back so that he can meet Kat.
Devon Sawa is so good that it was actually Casper's voiced by someone else, but Devon Sawa, continue. Yes.
Oh my gosh! So this is where. It's just so good. And then there's this emotional moment where like the whole movie, their relationship develops as a ghost and cat. And at the end, they get to like finally meet face to face. And like the real face of Casper, who's played by Devon Sawa, is revealed. And it's this really magical moment.
So is there any capacity whatsoever in which this is not influenced by you having a crush on Devon Sawa when you were 10 years old?
I'm not certain of that. I can't confirm or deny.
Okay.
But it's real. All I know is it's like in my heart and memory is something that was wonderful.
Can you picture Casper doing some creepy things like, Christina Ricci, getting into her pajamas, Casper maybe.
These are children, Robert.
Sneaking
These are children.
No,
No?
These are
he
children.
doesn't do that.
These are
Devon Sawa is
children.
like he's a gentleman.
These are children.
Casper is a gentleman.
These
Yeah.
are children.
He's very polite.
You're talking about child porn.
Yeah. Keep it clean. He was very respectful, and I loved this movie.
Is there a smooch at the end of this?
Yes, there is. It's kind of like
Sound way.
that creeps
You
me
are
course
getting
there
invested
is.
in things that I want you to not be invested in, Rob.
There is.
I haven't seen this.
I just played it over and over and over again. It's kind of like a reenactment of the movie
creepy.
Ghost.
It sounds creepy to me.
It's kind of like the movie Ghost, where it's kind of like a bit of a glow.
So you're mocking me, but the things you're mocking me about is why I'm creeped out about this movie. It's not a friendship. The Casper has an angle. Like this is
Who cares?
He's a nice guy.
Doesn't everybody have an angle?
Yeah.
Everyone has an angle, man.
Okay.
I love this movie.
So you like Casper because it plays into your inherent sense of cynicism.
And my love for Devon Sawa.
There you go. 5 stars.
5 stars.
All right. So I don't know how I can possibly follow that up, except with one of the canonical agreed upon masterpieces of the horror genre writ large. So this is from the year 1961. This is a film called The Innocents.
Yeah, you're gonna lend this to us.
I was trying to lend it to you, but then I figured, well, maybe I can tell you.
Is it the innocents or the innocents?
Those people who are innocent, and there are more than one of them. Innocent.
Okay, got it. Okay.
Based on The Turn of the Screw by Henry James, screenplay by Truman Capote, which is just like, how does Truman Capote write a haunted house movie? Very well. Turns out to be the answer. So this is a movie that, Carrie, you would just 100% not say qualifies.
No.
Because the entire thing is all about, so we have this governess, unnamed in the novel, named in the play that came in between the novel and the movie, and the name was re-upped by Truman Capote. Governess named Miss Giddens, played by Deborah Carr, who gets a job as the governess to the nephew and niece of this just amazing shithole, rich guy played by Michael Redgrave in one scene. So he has a nephew and a niece, and she's taking care of them, and the house is all huge and rambling and run down. And she very quickly learns that about a year ago, the previous governess killed herself because of a very poor love affair with another member of the staff who is also dead.
Wait. So she had an affair after somebody was dead? She was dead?
The previous governess and the groundskeeper had an affair.
But they were both alive at the time?
They were alive at the time.
Okay.
And now they're dead.
Both of them are. Okay.
And she, the governess, Miss Giddens, the current governess, becomes convinced that their ghosts are still hanging around.
Like in a romantic way?
In a romantic way. And now, Rob, you're going to like this part. Miss Giddens believes that the ghosts are trying to possess the brother and sister, the niece and nephew, to continue their repulsive love affair.
Yeah, that's got me going.
I know, right? So that's not like a thing. It's not like 8-year-old brother on sister incest is not a plot point in The Innocents. But that's kind of what the thing is. It's like Miss Giddens is confident that the ghosts are there and that they are doing horrible things to the children because they're so evil. But there's a real possibility that the only evil thing around is the patriarchal system that has forbidden Miss Giddens from expressing her sexuality in a healthy way. So she basically turns sexuality into this poisonous thing that even lingers beyond death because of how wretched and awful it is. Scary as hell, amazingly beautiful. This is this one of the all-time great black and white movies, directed by Jack Clayton, as I think I might have mentioned, and shot by Freddie Francis, who is one of the greats.
Doesn't sound good. This whole movie sounds like it's super creepy.
To me, it's got
it is super creepy. It's a haunted house movie. It's supposed to be super creepy.
I know, but it just sounds weird.
Yeah, it's got an Others vibe.
Who are you afraid of?
It's not unlike The Others. The Others clearly is a movie that exists because of The Innocents.
So what's the goal? What's the goal of the ghost?
The goal of the ghost is to, if Miss Giddens is to be trusted, to reapparate in the world of the living by manipulating the children.
Okay. So they don't want to kill anybody. They just want to operate in life.
Continue having their horrible, destructive love affair.
Okay.
But so there's this question basically throughout the entire film: are there ghosts, or is it all just in her head? And that is not a question the movie is interested in answering.
So doesn't it have to answer that though to be a ghost? Okay.
Not for me.
But I think it does.
Then you would think it's a ghost. This is what I said. This would not meet your criterion.
I have to know that it's a ghost. It has to answer that question in order to actually be a haunting movie. If it's in their head, then it's just
to me, if it does the work of a haunted house movie, it doesn't matter if the ghosts are real or if the ghosts are just, old man Jenkins.
Figments of the imagination it's a different genre. That's called insanity movies.
It's called spoiler movies, where you spoil movies. If if you find out that something was setting up as a ghost movie is not a ghost movie, then you're spoiling it.
So don't you? Okay.
Right? I don't
Maybe.
know.
I mean, I think I can safely say that at the last scene of The Innocents, we don't know whether there were ghosts.
Okay.
Good.
And that's
I
like
like
the
that.
point of
I
it.
like that.
Great movie, amazing in every possible way.
I love that movie. It just doesn't qualify. That's all.
Okay, it has a terrific score that has this like very ethereal haunting.
Okay.
Like it's a new folk song. Like it sounds like it was written like 1,000 years ago, but it was brand new for the film. And like it's the primary thing used in the score throughout the whole film, and it just comes to signify like this weird perversion that Miss Giddens sees all over the world. Really creepy score, really beautiful to look at. And not like super scary because there's no jump out and go boo type ghosts. These are just like stand around in the shadows looking angry ghosts. But it gets you.
All right.
It gets you pretty good. You guys need to watch it.
That's Beguiled meets The Others. A little doubt thrown in there. I don't know. It's yeah, it sounds interesting. I'm interested to see it. This next one for me, my number 3, meets Carrie's list. Does not meet Tim's list, which I think if it did, this would be higher up on Tim's list than number 3. It's a movie Carrie and I just recently took in, talking about 1980s The Shining.
How do you have that at number 3, man?
Where do you have it?
It's my number 1.
Is it really?
It's a good number 1.
Wow.
That's a
good for you.
it's the correct number
Holy
1.
crap, I didn't realize.
Really good movie.
Okay.
If it were a house and not a hotel, this would be my number 1.
It was a residence. So for me, it met because it was also a residence.
Defined as being a temporary residence.
But was a pretty long residence. It was like 5+ months. I've lived places shorter.
But of all the movies, this is one where the house is or the hotel, excuse me, the residence.
And I'll point out one
is,
thing
in fact,
too
haunted.
before you even start. So this movie, by your definition, would not have qualified for me. And this is something I'd like to talk about in a spoiler episode because we won't go there. But there is one solitary 2-second moment in this entire movie that I want to talk to you about after we're done recording that makes this a haunting movie to me.
Is it when the...
Don't tell me because it's a spoiler then, right?
Everyone knows what I'm about to say.
Okay.
Is it when the man in the bear suit is blowing the other man?
No.
Well, because that to me
I forgot about
That was
scene.
fine. No, that was fine.
To me, that makes it a haunt.
That's haunting.
They're
That's
ghosts.
fine.
They're the ghosts
No,
of
but you-
furries blowing each other.
Nope, that was fine. You can blow furries, but what you can't do is you can't unlock the door. So all of these things in this entire movie, you're uncertain on whether or not these
the
are
dry freezer or the dry room
when he's
or
in the dry
whatever.
freezer.
Yeah.
This entire movie, you're not certain whether or not these are figments of his imagination or not until he's in the dry freezer and he gets out because the bald ghost comes
Yep.
and unlocks the door, and that's the moment you realize these are like real ghosts.
I mean, I've seen The Shining so many times, so I can't even.
I've only seen it this once. It's very fresh.
To me, it is not a film that ever really has much doubt. Like there is evil. Maybe the evil is not
but
ghosts.
you don't think that it's a figment of his imagination most of the time?
I think that there is clearly a malevolent consciousness in that hotel. Whether it is like ghosts as such.
I think it's uncertain. I think when a ghost actually takes action and actually like impacts somebody in a way, then it becomes like a tangible ghost.
Sure.
Well,
I don't know.
It's either manipulation versus actually, picking up something and throwing something or unlocking a door.
Yeah.
Like that's where the rules change, and that's where the rules change for me in the movie too. Where was it just manipulating Jack and through possession or some sort of thing, or are they actually able to interact in our world? And that's where when that rule cross happens, then I get more scared.
It's more scary.
It's
when they
scarier
can
when they
move
can,
and they
like,
can touch and they can
mess with my
impact.
mind, make me see things that aren't there and make me maybe trip down the stairs, because I thought there were stairs that
Yeah.
they're not. Like that's all fine and good, but when you can actually have interactions in our
Yeah, I didn't know he was
dimension.
if he was hallucinating or not until that point, for sure.
I mean, I think that's when it becomes it for sure, but I certainly think there are moments where it's...
That was like the
'cause
last
when
7/8 of the movie. That was the very end of the movie,
Right.
which I think is interesting.
Well, when Danny sees the little girls, has he heard the story yet?
What story?
The story about what happened? Because those are the little girls
No.
who got... So that's the thing. I don't think he could have imagined them. I think he actually saw them. Like that
And
was
do you
something
feel like
was
do you feel like
manifested.
his power? We're talking about powers too. I like these types of movies.
Yep.
Do you feel like his presence there amplifies the it amplifies the
I think
evil.
there's no think. I think that's like,
Okay.
that's part
You
of
mean
the
his power
plot.
of The Shining?
The Shining. 'Cause
So I jumped in on you. You didn't even get to set up this movie.
it's your
but-
number. It's your number one. I think
everyone knows The Shining.
No, I saw it 3 days ago for the first time.
So now that you've finally seen it, everybody knows the film.
I know. My heart was racing this entire movie. This is one of my favorite movies I've ever seen.
Remember how I said that there are only like 4 movies that make me so scared that I can't go outside?
Yeah.
This is the other one.
Totally. This movie is... So here's my other question to you. So do you want to tell the plot of this movie or
Tell the
people
plot
all
of this
know?
movie.
No, just really quick. Yeah, family heads to an isolated hotel for the winter where an evil spiritual presence influences the father into violence. He was an asshole to begin with.
I was
but
going to say,
just,
monster
This
D-bag.
is the great dividing point between people who love the book more and people who love the movie more. Objectively, in the movie, we meet Jack and we're like, Jack is fucked up.
Yeah, you hate Jack.
In the book, Jack is trying to be good. In the movie, Jack is just
You hate
fucked
Jack.
up.
Yeah, I hate Jack.
And I like that better because otherwise it is another Amityville kind of horror movie.
To me, this is a movie all about just like evil manifesting.
Yeah, and
Where
Jack
it
Nicholson
manifests in terms of an abusive
just
husband and
kills
father
this
or-
performance.
But had you been a decent father, so he was a jag in the beginning, if without being that, would he have had a chance, or was the hotel destined to possess and drive insane whoever lived there?
Well, the book would certainly indicate that if you enter its sphere of influence, you're damned.
Okay.
You're just,
So-
the best you can do is what Jack ends up doing.
Since you're assuming that everybody's seen this movie, I'm just going to ask you my couple questions.
Please.
Would this movie have been as scary? Because I think one of the most compelling, amazing, wonderful things about this movie was the music and the sound.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
I was so, my heart was racing. I was sweating. I was clenching my face, my body, whatever. And I was so scared. And our 6-year-old kept coming in and knocking on the door. And I was like, get out. Because she kept freaking me out. And I was like, I was completely freaked out. And I realized the soundtrack on this was amazing.
Yep.
Is this one of those movies that if you were to just flip the sound to silent, would it be as scary?
No.
Yeah.
The movie is working on you physiologically. The movie is like distressing you.
Yeah. Did it
I
win
think it's-
anything for that?
Well, it's not original. It's all the music predates the film. Most of Stanley Kubrick's films had pre-existing soundtrack, like the music was all pre-existing. So no, there's not a single original composition in this film.
Okay. Man.
As far as drawbacks, does Shelley Duvall, does she work for you guys?
Yeah.
Damn it.
She totally
I
works.
don't know.
If there is
She's
a
distracting.
flaw with this movie,
There's nothing.
it's that it makes conversations about what's the scariest movie ever made boring because there's obviously
It's
one
always
objective
this.
answer.
Yeah.
Shelley Duvall was amazing. Do you know that that's Robert Duvall's daughter?
Oh, is it?
No,
It is.
I don't. Is it?
Yes.
Are you sure?
I'm 100% sure.
feel
Just
like
as
the
sure
age
as
isn't
I
right on
was
that.
about Robert Zemeckis earlier.
Yeah, that's...
No, it's definitely Robert Duvall's daughter. So, and also, while you're fact checking me on that, it's Danny Lloyd,
She is.
Robert Duvall's daughter.
I think it might be a different Robert Duvall.
Really?
Her father's name is Robert Richardson Duvall, and on Wikipedia he doesn't have a hot link.
Yeah, I mean, he's old. You don't get hot links on Wikipedia when you're older.
They're the similar age.
No, he's not. Robert Duvall's in his 80s and she's in her 60s. So anyway, you keep working on that. Danny Lloyd, the finger kid.
He's awesome. Yeah.
He is. Why he was in nothing ever again after this movie, and I don't understand why. I thought he was amazing
He wasn't
kid
an
actor.
He was just Kubrick found.
But
the
he
kid
was
wanted and-
fabulous. He
Yeah.
was a super creepy kid.
Listeners, Grant Hagee, Stevie, and Sarah also had this rightfully on their list as well. Care to your number 2?
Oh my gosh, I don't know how I topped that. I wish I hadn't gone to my number 1.
I don't know how Rob tops it twice over. I think that he's making it up. So if Robert Selden Duvall changed his name and then was 18 years old when he gave birth to his daughter, then yes, he could have been Shelley Duvall.
Thank you for clarifying.
welcome.
I'm glad I was right on that one. So the last one that I have is my number 2, which is also directed by Robert Zemeckis. No, but this one really is the 2000 What Lies Beneath.
All right.
Which makes sense, is maybe a copy-paste situation. But this is also written by Clark Gregg. Do you guys have this one?
No.
Do you guys love this one?
I kind of like it.
Do you like it?
I do
Ironically,
like it.
I would love it if it wasn't actually a ghost story.
But it is a ghost story.
But if it wasn't, I would.
Oh, see, no, I liked the ghost story.
I don't want to I feel like people haven't seen it, so I don't want to spoil it.
Yep. So don't do that. So I absolutely love this movie. Saw it in theaters. It's the wife of a university research scientist who's played by the wife is played by Michelle Pfeiffer, and then the research scientist is played by Harrison Ford. They live in this fancy lakeside Vermont home, and it's haunted. And so Michelle Pfeiffer starts feeling like she's losing her mind. Doors start slamming, pictures start breaking, paranormal things start happening in her house. She starts to hear voices and see images, and she's completely freaked out. She brings in Harrison Ford, who you think they have this beautiful relationship, and the two have to come together to confront their fears of what lies beneath. And this movie took a twist and turn I would have never expected.
It took a twist that I would never have expected, except it was front and center in the ad campaign.
Oh, see, and I didn't see the ad campaign.
Trailers in 2000 spoiled the shit out of this.
That's too bad.
It made it much harder for me to love the movie, like flat out.
I can see that because when this happened, I didn't see anything. And going into it cold, where I didn't know anything, this movie, I never saw that. And you don't expect, again, I won't spoil anything, but you don't expect the characters. You got to go out and see this if you missed it. So suspenseful and eerie that I can't remember being as scared as I was in this with the twists.
Here is a fun fact about that movie. It got made basically because during the shoot of Castaway, they needed to take 4 months off so that Tom Hanks could break his body into that wiry, sinewy thing that he did in the second half of Castaway. And so to keep the crew busy, Zemeckis was like, hey, let's just do a movie real fast. And that script was the one that
really?
came to hand. Wow.
Yeah. Oh, it was so good. And I like both of those movies for different reasons. Gosh, but
I like them for the same reason.
Real? What?
Yes. No, there are no commonalities other than
there's
Robert
some
Zemeckis.
water. There's a water
They both
situation.
have scenes where a character falls into the water in a way that is distressing.
It is distressing. Yeah. I think they might even eat fish in both movies too.
I don't remember if there's a fish eating scene in What Lies Beneath.
I think there is probably like salmon.
It's something that that class of people eat.
Yeah. So those are all of mine.
Are you out?
You took her one. Sorry, took her one.
That's all right. Where are you, Tim?
So my number 2 is the newest film on my list. So that's something to be excited about. It is also my one and only non-English film. This is the 1977 Japanese horror, comedy, satire, surrealist design masterpiece, House.
Can you really quickly combine that into one word for me?
No.
Okay.
So this is a film in which I don't even really know what to say happens. So what happens is that a group of schoolgirls are heading into the countryside. So I'm going to be cribbing from Wikipedia.
You didn't even say the title yet.
House.
The name is House.
The name is House.
Hasu?
Hasu.
Is that because people write in Hasu quite a bit? Is that the same thing?
So the title of the film is actually House, but it is said on screen, and the Japanese do not pronounce that word. It's not a word in Japanese. So the title of the film spoken is Hausu. The title of the film written is House. So what happens is that a schoolgirl named Gorgeous is going to the countryside to meet her aunt because she's having some level of unhappiness at her home with her father and her father's new girlfriend. Or actually, I think her father's new wife, in fact. So Gorgeous goes to visit her aunt with her friends Prof, Melody, Kung Fu, Mac, and Sweet, and Fantasy. Mm-hmm. So they go off into the country. They go to the aunt's house, and just fucked up shit happens at the aunt's house. The aunt is possibly a witch. Okay. The aunt is possibly the kind of witch who invites schoolgirls to her home to drain their life essence to remain young.
So witches, there must be a ghost too, because witches don't alone count, right?
There's all kinds of paranormal goings on.
Okay.
Also in the Japanese cultural context, the thing that we call a ghost is a much, much more generous category.
Okay.
There is a cat, and it is an evil haunted cat.
Now you've sold me.
It is a cat that can play the piano and sing. Okay. But it's also a cat.
It's kind of like Hocus Pocus.
exactly like. This is basically like Hocus Pocus.
Okay.
If that is what I will get to sell people on the movie House, yes, it is just like Hocus Pocus. No, it's this amazingly beautiful film in which just no end of weird shit is happening, but the shit that happens is sort of beautiful. And then it's done with these really unbearably terrible visual effects, but they're so terrible that that's like part of the charm and appeal of the thing. And it's really violent, and it's not a little bit scary, and it's really funny because it's kind of more a comedy than a horror film, but it's also clearly a horror film because it's full of witches and ghost cats and people getting eaten alive by pianos and heads rising out of wells to chase after and try to eat their friends.
Sounds so good.
I think you're being insincere.
Oh, really? Does it seem? Rob says that. He's like, I can tell you're mocking me. Does that sound like the voice that I use when I'm mocking you, Rob?
That is the voice of insincerity that comes from Carrie. You've
spotted it. It is a film that is hard to put into words, which is the reason I'm not describing it very well. But if you like cinema in any capacity, you should see House. It's excellent.
Would I like it?
Everyone would like it.
Really? Okay.
I think you should see it. Let me put it that way.
I will see that right when you see Watcher in the Woods.
All right. Well, if I see Watcher in the Woods tomorrow, how will you see House tomorrow?
How will I see House tomorrow?
I can lend you the Blu-ray.
Okay. So pick that up, Rob.
Well, I've got to Carrie's delight, I will combine words. I've got a horror com here. Is that?
Oh, Pretty Woman.
Yeah, nice.
Horror comedy?
Horror comedy. Yeah, I've got a horror com here.
Yeah.
This is one that flips the traditional trying to exorcise a spirit or a demon or a ghost out of a house, and this flips it to the ghosts want to get the people out of the house. Because that's what you want to do. You live there.
Gosh, I'm trying to think of what
things
movie
happen
this
to
is.
you.
This must be some obscure French movie that no one's ever heard of. I have no idea what you're talking about.
No.
Betelgeuse?
Oui.
Oh.
Juice.
Betelgeuse?
Betelgeuse.
Or apparently Topper. Apparently this is not an original story.
Topper's different.
Okay, people were writing in something about Topper.
Topper is not the same as Beetlejuice.
Okay, well, I'll stick with Beetlejuice. Hour 32 minutes, shot in 1988, 7.5 on IMDb, Rotten Tomatoes 82%, directed by Tim Burton. Probably my favorite Tim Burton movie. Yeah.
It's wrong, but it's a legitimate opinion.
Yeah.
Hold.
What about Night Before doesn't he do Nightmare Before Christmas?
Yeah.
He didn't direct it.
Oh, he didn't. Okay.
He's got his name all over, but he didn't technically direct it.
Okay.
This is just a lot of fun, and I was a young lad. Alec Baldwin on screen, Gina Davis as the young couple who meet an early demise and find their home now sold to some weird family with youngest daughter Winona Ryder, who has a gift to see ghosts. Mm-hmm. And they come across they hire a kind of the equivalent of like a ghost used car salesman to try to exterminate the residents, and Michael Keaton, who's just having so much fun with the Beetlejuice role, where you just got to enjoy. Have you not seen this Beetlejuice?
I don't think so.
You've never seen.
Oh my God!
So I used to watch the cartoon. Is that close? I think I used to watch the cartoon.
It is to the movie as McDonald's is to going to a really great steakhouse in downtown Chicago.
Okay. So I should see the movie.
You should see the movie.
I bet I would like it. Is it in like the Edward Scissorhand vein, kind of that kind of thing?
I mean, it's certainly the early Burton thing. It doesn't have the charm of Edward Scissorhands.
Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't have the charm. There are those oddities that you find like in Edward Scissorhands, which it's like is this is in our world? Like weird behaviors by the average individuals. There's a whole singing scene which they dedicate like 5 minutes to
Banana Boat.
Banana Boat. Is that the name of the song?
Deo, the Banana Boat song.
Deo, yeah. It made $74 million.
Who plays Beetlejuice?
Michael Keaton.
Oh, he does. Oh, he's the exterminator.
He's the human exterminator.
Oh,
Michael
okay.
Keaton, and as was not mentioned, although should have been because they're delightful, the parents, Winona Ryder's parents, are played by Catherine O'Hara and Jeffrey Jones, both of whom are superb. Catherine, that's like when I noticed because I was 6 when I fucking saw the movie. The first time I saw Catherine O'Hara, and like ever since, I've been a Catherine O'Hara stan because she's so damn good.
She's awesome in it, and yeah, so they move in, they want to remodel the house, and they love their Gina Davis and Alec Baldwin love their house the way that it is. So
the new family are like these awful New York yuppies with terrible taste in art. So
okay.
that's the thing.
Otto. I somehow remember the name Otto.
Otto is like Catherine O'Hara's spiritual guru, sort of
an art decorator, as well too.
I'm almost certain I would love this movie.
I'm
pretty sure I would.
Yeah, you would really, and you get to see a young Winona Ryder now that we get to see her in Stranger Things.
And a young Alec Baldwin when he was like skinny and hot. And young Gina Davis.
You got to get real young there, though.
As hot as all incarnations of Gina Davis.
That's true. She gets better with age.
Listeners, Catherine Clark's Salim Garami and Joy Vigil also had Beetlejuice on their list as well. So I'm left with my number one, Tim. Same with you?
Yeah, you're
sorry,
done.
Karen,
So sorry,
we depleted
that's
you early.
Well, as I think a lot of people online guessed, that this was going to be my number one, because especially if you're going to limit it to houses and not hotels, how could it possibly be anything other than 1963's The Haunting? Directed by Robert Wise, based on The Haunting of Hill House by Shirley Jackson. So this is kind of not entirely unlike my first film that I mentioned, The House on Haunted Hill. This is about a group of strangers who have been gathered together in a house that is supposedly haunted. And the reason that this has happened is that there is a psychologist who is trying to research fear. So he wants to trap this group of people in a haunted house to see what happens. And what happens is that there is something really weird and possibly malevolent going on, and it seems to hinge in unexpected ways on a character played by Julie Harris named, oh my God, is it Evelyn, I think is her character name, who is someone whose terrible mother has just recently died, leaving her with a small amount of money and freedom for the first time in her adult life. So she's this very, mousy figure who's never really had an opportunity to express herself as an adult because she's always been living with her sickly mother. No one respects her, so she is blossoming out into the world, into this haunted house where that seems to have a weird particular interest in her. So it's a character study more than anything, but it's a scary ass character study with one of the best sets ever built for a horror film. The house, Hill House is the name of it, is this just grotesque gothic pile that has angles and sharp things and this weird greenhouse with a broken staircase. So just the inside of the space looks impossible and inhuman and unlivable. And so all of these people meander around, and then things start banging and things start falling, and there's no way to explain it. And
do you see anything?
You don't, but you hear a hell of a lot.
So,
Eleanor, her name is Eleanor.
Eleanor. So do they come, is their goal to kill people?
Their goal is very unclear, but it's not nice.
Okay, just the sounds and stuff.
It is a goal that, I don't want to give away what happens, because in a lot of ways...
I like to see these.
Like what happens is, Eleanor has a connection to the house.
Okay.
We don't know what it is. We never quite figure out what it is. But the house is willing to do what it takes to manifest that connection.
Okay.
Scary as hell. Robert Wise, who directed this in between West Side Story and The Sound of Music. So talented man could switch from 3-hour candy corn musicals to this scary as hell haunted house movie.
Have you seen this, Rob?
No, but Eleanor and the description,
there is a remake, The Yonda Bond, which is dog shit.
Yeah.
It's so bad.
But the plot is
it's
almost
the same
100%,
plot,
right?
It's 100%
yeah, because
the same
it
plot.
sounds the Eleanor, in particular the character named Eleanor, but the twist that you're mentioning, not a twist, but the.
Let's just say that the 1999 movie was made for an audience that was a lot less tolerant of ambiguity than the 1963 film, and so it has much more of a this is what's happening, and also it rips off the ending from a totally different book that has a very different ending and is much worse.
Well, I appreciated being hit over the head with the obviousness of it, because I don't think I would have cracked the code in 1999. Maybe not even now.
I want you to watch the 63
original
version. I want you to
Okay.
see the good version of the story.
I'd like to see it as well too, because I liked what the 99 version was going for. It's a genuinely interesting twist of you think the movie's
This is going for different, better things. So don't expect the same twist.
Is this your number one?
This is number one.
I'm at my number one, and
Gosh,
again,
I don't
ranked.
even have any idea what this could be.
I ranked all of the movies based on if I had all of my 5 right out in front of me, which one do I want to put in the Blu-ray player first? And it's been a while since I've seen this, but this one still stands out to me as being a haunted house built on a Native American cemetery.
If you say the movie you're about to say and you say that movie's better than The Shining, you and I are going to have to work.
It's the movie that I want to watch right now more than because I just saw The Shining. It's claimed to have been directed by Tobe Hooper, but really was Steven Spielberg.
I think that is, and that is. We can have that conversation. So say the name of the movie.
This is 1982's Poltergeist. Hour and 54 minutes. IMDb gives it a 7.4. Rotten Tomatoes 88%. Not a fan?
No,
not just The Shining.
Is this the pea soup one?
It's just not The Shining. No, that's The Exorcist.
Okay, I haven't seen the Poltergeist.
Which I think it's worth pointing out because none of us brought it up. Demonic possession movies are clearly not haunting movies. Clearly a different thing.
Yeah.
All right, just want to make sure.
I'm with you. But this one is a haunt.
This is a haunting.
Would you agree?
I'm just saying Exorcist is not. And any shame on anyone who says it is.
This one stars Jo Beth Williams, Heather O'Rourke. Love
is this
Heather
the little
O'Rourke.
girl who died, unfortunately?
Yes.
And it had a series
it was not
of...
unfortunate at all.
Why?
She was awful. No, it was terrible.
It's
tragic.
very
That's
bad.
what I was going to say. I was just a little gritty.
Well, when you said unfortunately, I immediately had to be a contrarian.
Yeah, it felt like that. Yeah. It's been a long time, so time's passed. But I thought about a bunch of unfortunate things happened.
She died prematurely. A couple other people died fairly prematurely. There was
because they were haunted. So tell us about why it was so haunty.
It's just a series of events, and the whole plot of the movie is a family's home is haunted by a host of ghosts, and they focus in on. They actually spend time with each family member, but Heather O'Rourke's character Carol Ann kind of gets.
She's the one who gets all the signature moments.
But nobody gets possessed in this movie.
No, there is a a worm with tequila bottle, which is an awesome scene.
Oh, it's a good scene.
Yeah,
no, but
especially for the times.
They don't get possessed in an exorcism.
Okay.
Not in an exorcism way. But yeah, you would like this. And
you would totally like
the
this.
practical effects in this that they use in order to accomplish some of the things. I think that's probably hopefully what if Tobe Hooper brought things to the table.
On the contrary, that to me is the most clearly Steven Spielberg-esque part of it.
Really?
Well, keep in mind this movie was being made more or less simultaneously with E.T.
Okay. I guess I'm thinking John Carpenter with the thing.
Very frequently, E.T. and Poltergeist are very frequently compared as being flip sides of each other.
I'm actually looking at one of the still shots, and it's actually Steven Spielberg talking to Craig T. Nelson on the set. So it's interesting that they were trying to.
Which one is Steven Spielberg?
I think that's
the one.
Is that Coach?
Yeah, Craig T. Nelson.
Oh my God.
You would love this movie, Care.
Really?
Yeah.
I totally love this movie.
I think the reason I've avoided it is because I think I thought it was too scary.
It is.
It's not terribly scary.
You don't think so?
It's a PG movie.
Is it scarier than The Shining?
No.
Okay.
What?
Because The Shining, I did wet my pants a few times, but I really liked it. So obviously,
this is a movie.
It
is still a Steven Spielberg production that has a lot of Steven Spielberg in it, and I think the question of who directed it, we have this hang up on auteur theory that says, well, if it's Steven Spielberg's voice and vision, he directed it really no matter what. Tobe Hooper could have just been totally phoning it in and not challenging his producer, and he clearly did that. I mean, you look at it and it's clearly a Spielberg film, but I don't think that means that Tobe Hooper didn't direct it. I think that means that people have the wrong idea of what directing a movie necessarily means.
So I have the wrong
Well,
idea.
people, not you, people.
Also, this features Zelda
Hell yes, it features Zelda Rubinstein.
Yeah. As Tangina. Stein, not sure.
She's amazing, and I love her, and she's so good.
Kind of the Oracle Care who tries to bring back Carol Ann from the, kind of like the upside down, the further or the upside down, depending on what your thing is.
The evil TV universe.
I will say the things I like about the sequels is the man with the black hat. I do love that from the subsequent films.
I don't know what to do with this information.
You don't like the man with the black hat?
I don't like the sequels.
But the man with the black hat is what I'm talking about. Carol Ann, Southern voice.
Whenever you do Southern voices, my skin crawls.
There you go. Then I'm nailing it. I'm doing it. We got to see this, Care.
Okay.
There are a lot of memorable scenes. I have not seen the remake.
The remake is really bad.
Okay.
No reason to see the remake. No, to me, no reason to see the remake or any of the sequels. But
Hyjin, Matthew, and Diane Wolfe also had this on their list. This was nominated for 3 Oscars. So, well done. Every week, we ask you to share your picks and thoughts for a chance to win a free Amazon movie rental. Based on the results, here are our audience's top 5 picks. Tied for number 5, we had The Others, the aforementioned The Others.
Solid movie.
Evil Dead 2. I didn't think about that, but
I even going soft on haunted houses, I don't think that's a haunting movie.
And also tied for number 5, Hazu.
Once you've seen the movie, you'll understand why that's what happens.
Less weird than what just happened.
No, still equally as weird.
Okay.
More explicable.
Standing alone at number 4, we have The Conjuring. tied for third, we have Beetlejuice and The Innocents. People finding those equitable there, the two. You see?
That is okay.
At number 2, we have The Haunting.
Good.
And number 1, clear favorite, The Shining.
I only have one. No Casper?
No, Casper didn't make the cut. And
I'm sure that was number 7.
I thought so.
And our lucky winner this episode, Carol Fisher Van Pelt, who had a few movies. She had The House on Haunted Hill listed, The Omen, which I'm not sure it's a haunting.
The Devil Baby movies are not haunting movies.
She also had The Shining and The Haunting. Session 9, which a lot of people had that on there.
I think it would by no stretch of the imagination meet Carrie's definition, but I think I see where that comes from.
Interesting choices as well with The Exorcist and Jaws. The Jaws one is a fun stretch.
I think someone might have seen everybody else's lists and was like, "Hey, they're listing their favorite horror movies."
Carol, shoot us an email.
Unless they are haunted by the specter of World War II.
I think the way she put it was it kept her from going. It haunted the scene haunted her from entering the water for a long period of time, which is fair enough. Carol, shoot us an email at contact@alternateending.com for details on how to claim your free movie rental. If you want to win a free movie like Carol, be on the lookout for a spoiler alert or top 5 movie posts on Facebook and Twitter to share your favorite picks. In closing, thanks everyone for tuning in. Check us out on our social media pages. Go out to our Facebook page, like it. Head out to Twitter. We're tweeting all new items when we post reviews, movies, podcasts, more, and just some general info. Also, check us out on alternateending.com where you'll find all those movie reviews, podcasts, blogs, and more. Subscribe to our podcast on iTunes or Google, and be sure to leave a review. Carrie, did we have any new reviews?
We do.
All right.
Yay.
We have one from Enid J. Coleslaw.
Enid J. Coleslaw.
Oh, I didn't stutter through that at all. Enid J. Coleslaw.
No, I stuttered.
Okay, great for all kinds of movie fans. I love the conversational style of the hosts and varying styles of viewers they target. Experts such as myself, hobbyists such as you, Tim, and casual people such as Rob can all find something to love. They are always hilarious and always motivating me to see yet more movies, which
thank you, Enid.
Is very, very nice. And they did make it more difficult to actually make a review, so I appreciate you making it through.
Thank you for putting in the effort.
The effort to get there is very sweet.
Yeah, appreciate it. And with Thor Ragnarok coming out and appearing that Hulk and Thor duke it out in gladiator fashion.
If they do not, there will be many people who feel quite wronged by that ad campaign.
I will be very disappointed. So we decided to look at our top 5 fights. Catch you then.